Did you know if there is a serial killer's house for sale and you want to take a look at it, the agent can't even disclose that to you? Here's how to prevent it from happening to you. All right, so we all know Rex Human's been arrested, and it looks like he is likely the Long Island serial killer. His home is located in Massapequa Park, not a half a mile from my house, and his house has been a crime scene that looks like it's out of an episode of CSI. It's more likely than not that this house will come up for sale, and hopefully for everyone's sake, it gets knocked down. But that said, I want to go over with you New York State real estate law and how you might be surprised with some of the stuff we can actually disclose to a buyer. So New York State real estate law lends itself to a buyer beware atmosphere. Basically, what that means is a home buyer has a sole responsibility to find any defects on their own. And the listing broker or seller generally does not have any sort of obligation to disclose those things to you. Now, there are some exceptions, but what if the house was owned by a serial killer? Or what if there was a murder in the house? Well, New York State addressed that in 1995 when they amended their real estate law. They addressed something called stigmatized property. And basically what this amended law did was relieve the obligation of real estate brokers to disclose certain things. Specifically, they addressed that there is no need to disclose if the prior owner or occupant had HIV, AIDS, or other diseases that were not easily transmissible. And it also took away the need to disclose if the house was a site of a murder, a crime, a felony, or anything like that. So let's just say that the house in Massapequa Park, owned by the Long Island serial killer, goes up for sale. And there's a home buyer that's moving from out of state, no knowledge of that house being a serial killer's house. They go make an appointment to see it, and they ultimately purchase it. At no point is there any obligation for the real estate agent or the seller to disclose who owned that house. Now, how would you feel if that happened? Because it's a very plausible thing that could happen on cases that are not as public as this one. So what can a buyer do? The buyer does have the right to write a written request to the seller or the seller's agent specifically asking questions on who owns that house, what happened in that house, and any sort of information that they want. Now, the seller and the seller's agent does have the opportunity to respond or not respond, but if I'm a home buyer and somebody refuses to respond, it might give me an indication that I need to dig a little deeper. So for more information about this law, you can check out New York State Real Property Law, Section 443-A. Let me know your thoughts.